ADHD fucks up your life in a dizzying number of ways, and you don't truly come to grasp just how far it crams its bony hand up your arse and manipulates you like a puppet until you get well into adulthood. There's the obvious stuff like the troubled school and college years, the poor driving record and the failed relationships, the slightly less obvious stuff like the sleep and wake problems, and the obscure stuff like postural sway and aphantasia. But one of the most insidious ways that ADHD impacts our lives is in the shape of the ADHD tax. Yes, friends, the ADHD tax, the cost we ADHDers pay just for living with this neurodevelopmental disorder. The fuck-up tax, the forgetful tax, the sweet Jesus, can I at least remember to pay my mobile phone bill tax? Here are 10 ways you might be paying the ADHD tax too. You sign up for some app on a whim, and you then take up the offer of a free trial for a week or a month, naively thinking to yourself, no sweat, I'll cancel it before I actually have to pay anything. Wrong. You will not cancel that app, and you'll forget all about your subscription until the 7th day when, while a god might take a rest if they existed, the app company won't. You'll get a notification that you've just paid $150 to a Chinese company for an AI face generator app that also stole your private metrics and sent them to Shenzhen. This one nearly bit me in the arse very recently in the form of a subscription clusterfuck. I signed up for 3 meditation apps with 7-day trials. Yeah, I know. And I only remembered to cancel them a day before the trials ran out because an advert for a meditation app appeared on YouTube, and I had one of those fuck moments. Had I not seen that advert, I'd have been out of pocket about $250, and I'll tell you what, that sure as shit wouldn't have left me calm, centered, and at one with my inner chi. You're trying to do the right thing and eat healthier, so you walk purposefully past your favourite fast food outlet, and instead you buy yourself some fresh food, some fresh chicken maybe, some veggies. I'll make a nice curry, you think to yourself. No, you fucking won't. Sure, you'll open the fridge and check in on your new fresh food friends, and you might even check the best before or use by date on that chicken, but you won't ever make anything with them. That chicken will be 5 days past its use by before you are sufficiently motivated to make that curry. You'll bear witness to the slow but inexorable expansion of the plastic tray as the meat slowly rots in its own juices. And then those veggies will have sprouted in your fridge drawer and be well on the way to forming a new kind of collectivist society in which all veggies work together for the prosperity of the group, and disputes are resolved through mediation overseen by the wise cabbages. Sorry, that went a bit left field. The long and the short of it is that you paid about $50 to watch perfectly good food decompose in your fridge. You're in the city, and the quickest way from uptown to downtown is the toll road. So of course you're going to take it because, you know, ADHD. It's all good, you think. I'll pay that toll when I get home. No, you won't. It will be 5 reminders, 2 final demands, and a threatened court appearance before you pay a fee that is now 10 times more due to late payment fees. You're out shopping. Always a dangerous situation, let's face it. As you browse the many sections of the shopping mall department store, you see a bread maker, or an ice cream machine, or a fucking waffle maker, and you think to yourself, imagine all the money I'll save making my own bread or ice cream or waffles. You'll use it once, twice at most, and then your several $100 investment will collect dust in a cupboard. And you'll go back to buying bread and ice cream and waffles, but only the store brand stuff, because now you can't afford the name brand ranges. The other day I opened a drawer and discovered 3 pairs of nail clippers, 2 of which were still in their packaging. It goes like this. I'll use my nail clippers, put them in what I consider a sensible and perfectly reasonable location at that moment in time, and then curse myself a few weeks later when I can't find a pair of nail clippers anywhere, forcing me to go and buy a new pair. Ditto scissors. Our ability to lose stuff is legendary. The other day, I lost a brand new metal spatula I bought for the barbecue. How the fuck do you lose a spatula? It was the size of my bloody arm. Here's the scenario. You need some new clothing or footwear, and rather than schlepping around the old high street fashion store, you decide to shop online. You make your purchase and await their arrival. The goods arrive, you try them on, and they're too big or just, shit, and you put them back in the packaging intending to return them. You muppet. Returning items you bought that are the wrong size is 100% the kind of thing an ADHDer will dodge. You'll put dodge on repeat. You'll leave the purchases somewhere prominent and then start piling shit on them until they're invisible. Then, my friend, the returns window will pass, and you now have an item that you don't want, that you cannot return, and you're faced with either keeping it for some future highly unlikely scenario, a friend who's a size 8 and needs a high instep running shoe, or selling it on Facebook Marketplace for a hugely discounted price, or most likely of all, just adding it to the cupboard of things we don't mention. You've been out on your bike, getting a bit of exercise. You feel great about working up the motivation to get a bit fitter, and you should feel good about yourself. You get home, leave the bike out the front of the house while you just dip in quickly to have a refreshing drink of water. The next day, in one of those horrible moments of realization and brutally unexpected self-awareness, you remember your bike. My bad. You remember the bike that was spotted by the local crackhead and ridden away in the late evening, and now it's not your bike anymore. It's a nice bike with the shittiest paint job in the world, and it's available for purchase cash only on Facebook Marketplace. We all need experts in our lives, specialists who can help or diagnose or perform some other task, but accessing those people means firstly booking and then, attending that booking. But we don't do things like adding it to the calendar or the reminders app, and it usually gets forgotten about until we either receive an embarrassing call on the day of or simply a bill a few days later. I find it quite amusing that the large clinical psychiatry practice I attend require all ADHD appointments to be paid in full up front. Rub it in, why don't you guys? The ADHD Army accumulate hobbies like other people collect store loyalty cards. We fall head over heels in love with something, we buy all the gear, and 2 weeks later, at best, we're over it. I went indoor climbing once, really enjoyed it. Bought my own harness and those painfully small little rubber shoes. Several $100, never went climbing again. I nearly bought a potter's wheel after attending a one-day pottery class, and the absurd purchase was only prevented by a full-blown meltdown by my missus. Sorry, Catherine. You have a thing to do or a place to be, but you lost track of time or forgot about the thing, and now you're running late. So instead of taking some nice cheap public transport, you're sat in the back of an expensive taxi. As the dollars tick over on that meter, as you sit in traffic and watch the buses stream past you in the bus lane, you have plenty of time to curse your complete and total inability to plan for anything more advanced than a toilet break. So that's the ADHD tax manifest, and laid bare in all its glory. The ADHD tax ranges from little things like wasted food and mislaid property to massive things like employment prospects and criminal behaviour. It's just another example of how serious the real-world consequences of this disorder are, and explains how hurtful it is when uninformed wankers treat ADHD in a flippant manner. Being ADHD as fuck isn't a trendy affectation you mention casually at a social drinks event. It's a lifelong string of calamities, minor and major, and it sucks. Anyone want to buy a like-new climbing harness?